This is a display that Benshaw uses on their MX series solid state starters. The display that's shown right now is its default screen, meaning if you make any changes and leave the keypad alone, it'll default back to this default screen, which is used to monitor certain things and parameters of the unit. As you can see right now, it says that it's in a ready mode, it's stopped, and it's also showing amps average on the top right hand corner and voltage average on the lower right hand corner. The voltage is the actual voltage that's feeding the starter, not what it's putting out. As you can see, if you use the up or down arrow, this will scroll through other metering parameters. For example, there's all three phases of current. The next one up is all three phases of volts. And as you keep going, it'll display megawatts, kilowatts, and just about everything else you want to see. Also, as you go up through, it'll tell you the last start time, meaning how long it took to start and come up to full speed, and the peak current that it drawn during that start. Shows you the frequency. It also tells you the order of the phase that's feeding the starter. As you keep pushing the buttons up or down, it'll go around in a loop and eventually come back to the very beginning of the default screen, which is right there. So basically it runs in a loop, and you can get a lot of information from that for troubleshooting purposes. Now, once you're at the default screen, you can access the different menus by simply pushing the menu button. Pushing this once will get you to the quick start menu, which is helpful for setting up the unit when you first purchase it and commission it. You keep pushing it, it takes you to the other menus and parameter lists that you'll probably have to enter and do some programming. But as you can see, by simply pushing the menu button, it just goes around and comes back to the default screen. If you keep pushing it, it just goes around in a loop. So as you can see, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have 6 different parameter lists to go down into before you come back to the default screen. So if I do want to go to a different menu, the first one you come to is the quick start. The quick start menu is the first one you want to come to set the unit up after you power it up to get ready to commission. So once in here, the very important parameters for the start curve and proper functionality are in this group. So you can either hit the down arrow or up arrow. Again, if you keep pushing one arrow, it's going to go around in a loop. You can't get lost. So I'm going to hit the down arrow, or actually let's try the up arrow. The first thing I come to is motor FLA. This is the information you would pull right off of the motor nameplate that this starter is connected to, and this is where you would program it. Right now, for example, we have 2 amps programmed into it. Let's just say we want the actual motor current is 5 amps. To change that, you simply push the enter button, you put the up arrow to 5, and hit the enter button, and it's locked in there. I'm going to change it back to 2 because that's what our test motor is. And another demonstration, you hit enter, you push the down arrow to 2 because that's what our nameplate is, enter, and it locks it in. The next one up is service factor. Again, you enter everything in here you want that matches your nameplate. Here is a running overload. You can program that to whatever class overload you want. The local source tells you where you're going to start and stop this product. And right now we have it set for keypad because I want to use the start-stop buttons right here on the keypad. However, if I wanted external input to start it, I would simply change this to terminal because that's where it's looking for its start signal. I would then enter. Now it won't start or stop with my start-stop buttons because it's looking for the start signal somewhere else. So I'm going to put him back to keypad, enter, and now it will start from here. and stop. So that's what that does. But as you can see, there's settings in the quick start menu, the starting curves. So the very basic, the very important parameters are inside the quick start menu. However, a lot of these are duplicated as you go to the other parameter lists. For example, I/O, you would go in here, this is where you'd want to set up your inputs and outputs for what you want it to do, fault, start, stop, however you want to set it up, and this would be in the I/O group. And again, if you keep pushing the up arrow, it will eventually come around to the beginning. It just goes in a loop. There's the function group. Now this here, it's not actually a parameter, this is my fault. This records the last 5 faults, so I can go down and look at my faults. This is important for troubleshooting. If we need to talk to you, we may ask you to go into the fault menu and tell us what the last fault was, and that would be fault number 1. The fault number 1 is the latest fault. Push the menu button, it brings you back to the basic default menu.